coronavírus é um desafio. E a tecnologia da Petrobras pode ajudar muito neste momento. Nossos cientistas e nossa rede de parceiros estão buscando incansavelmente soluções rápidas para prevenção e tratamento. Redirecionamos a capacidade de processamento de 2 supercomputadores para a pesquisa de combate à doença. Juntos, nossa energia fica mais forte.
Boa tarde, pessoal. O nosso painel de hoje vai ser em inglês. Vocês têm na ferramenta que a gente está usando a tradução do YouTube, então você tem um botão, você pode ligar os subtitles em inglês. Hi, folks. My name is Bernardo Zamiovisky. The Rio2C team and myself are very happy for hosting the Rio2C Live. We'd like to thank you and our speakers for being here and for the audience. Today we will present the following panel: Medical Innovation in the Fight Against Pandemics. This panel will be presented by Alex Ye, EVP International at Allm Japan and CEO at Allm Brazil. Franco Goytia, founder and CEO of Casper Biotech, and Leopoldo Shipman, Innovation and Startup Manager at Albert Einstein Hospital. In this panel, we will cover innovation around the globe that are combating pandemic, new drugs, vaccines, new tests, new monitoring systems. They're helping now and also will change things in our life after this pandemic. The panel will be presented first by Alex, then Franco, and after Leopoldo, myself. After the presentations, I will shoot some questions. Okay, so now is your time, Alex. We don't have your sound. You turn off.
Sorry. Hello. So my name is Alex. Thanks for having me for this impressive panel. Congratulations. Well, hello, every speakers. So we're talking about a little bit about what we're doing in Japan and what we apply here in Brazil. So first of all, I want to make a statement that the original day is different. We don't go back anymore to what used to be before coronavirus. So in this original day, it will be less social, touchless, more protocol guideline, maybe less freedom sometime. But it's all a matter to protect the life of the people, life of the people who we love, in exchange of some kind of restraint for the freedom. It's all about comfort. Talking about that, the why Japan has been a little bit more control, even though it doesn't have a strong restriction. It's about the nature of how Japanese people live. For instance, Japanese people take shoes off. So when you go to home, you leave the shoes on outside of the door. You don't kind of touch people when you greet. Handshakes rarely, from time to time. Your kiss is something that rarely happy. It's more about the ball. So that all things is helping, but still this is a social part. The interesting, the technological part is supporting that. So I think that some of you have been who've been in Japan already, have been hearing about the high-tech toilet in Japan. So when you enter the door, the toilet opens automatically, for instance, right? It's touchless. More other touchless situations start happening. I think a year ago, Japan opened the very first people-less convenience store. So you have the a lot of technology through the cell phone for the pay, automatic pay through the radio is happening, especially in China, for instance, like so PayPay or WeChat, Alibaba, and Japan as well. So that started to be more in the people-less. The interesting that the people-less is more towards the lack of those employees, but now it's applying for the COVID-19 situation. in terms of the medicine, the world is lack of the specialists. So more and more, we're starting to see a convergence of how you can utilize the few specialists towards the entire country. Some app is coming, sharing the knowledge. The way that telemedicine is great, it's happened many, many years ago, but still is going for expensive places, big hospital to mid hospital. We need to work towards capillarization of the telemedicine. So in Brazil, for instance, we go to the UPA in a remote area. Those people deserve the same kind of quality of the diagnostic as you're here in a big city like São Paulo. That will eventually happen. Of course, if they think they can take care of that or not is a different story, but it will eventually happen. With that kind of situation that you can spread the quality of the diagnostics towards a new era of telemedicine with the mobile app, you can have better triage. Even for the situation like this, like pandemic situation or mass disaster happen that you overload the emergency room, you can triage. So people who doesn't need to come into the big hospital, there's going to be works through that. Those people will stay where they are. And in better triage will mean less overloading emergency room. So sophisticated equipment goes to the people who most need it. That's how we're going to start managing that. And more towards that. For instance, I can give you the example how hospitals being specialized in a stroke, for instance. You have hospitals that do a medication called thrombolysis. There's new treatment from many, many years ago, but a treatment called thrombectomy, which you use in a catheter. But that's on the big centers only. But if you overload the big hospital with the people with the medication, you will have no room for the people who need the catheter therapy. So why don't we keep the people with the less severity in a smaller hospital and the more people who need more bigger treatment or more sophisticated treatment on those sophisticated hospitals? The best way to do that, but the best doctors are staying in those bigger hospitals like Comprehensive Stroke Center. So the way to manage that triage, traffic cop of a patient will be through the telemedicine system. Not to maybe the ones that exist will evolve. But at the end of the day, we need cheaper, we need more, I would say, massification of the telemedicine. So you can be 300 kilometers from São Paulo, you have the same quality of diagnosis, including the decision to transfer this patient to the big center. The last but not least, in Japan, for instance, artificial respiratory equipment is not really kind of the last line of defense. They use equipment called ECMO, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. The fact that it's too expensive. It costs $10,000 a day. And sometimes the entire treatment throughout to the patient going to the home may cost almost $700,000. So it's not for everyone. Japan, for instance, you have around 23,000 artificial respiratory machine. You have only 1,400 ECMOs. It's equivalent like the artificial heart and the lung that you take blood out, you put oxygenation, and you bring this in a blood back. The survival ratio, not in the COVID-19 because it has other complications, but in the normal ratio of survival using the ECMO, in normal pneumonia is 60%. So it's a very good machine, but it's too expensive. So you need to select the right people and the right patient to do that. That's only with the triage, which I explained previously. So I have left 35 seconds. Thank you, Bernardo.
Franco, can you talk now, please?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I will try to support my presentation with slides. You can see that there, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you for Bernardo. Thank you, the Rio2C team for the invite. My name is Franco Goytia. I'm co-founder and CEO of Casper Biotech. I will speak mostly about how our company, our startup, is addressing the COVID-19 pandemic in the development of a portable molecular diagnostics platform through CRISPR. So Casper identified this key problem more than a year ago when we started in 2019, which was the accessibility of molecular detection, and that most solutions which are molecular are today limited to centralized labs with trained personnel and expensive equipment. And there's a real need to take precise molecular detection from the lab to the field, to the point of care, to the low complexity facility. There are some portable rapid tests, but most of them are not molecular. So Casper, through CRISPR, what we're doing is we're bringing the best out of both worlds. The specificity from centralized laboratories and the rapid usage and the portability from rapid tests. And we do that through CRISPR, which some of you may know as a gene editing technology of high impact since its discovery in 2012. And what we're doing in Casper is instead of using CRISPR for gene editing or as a therapeutic, we're using it as a detection mechanism. So using the activity of the CRISPR-Cas enzyme to identify specific DNA or RNA sequences. And in that sense, what we have built or what this technology gives us is a platform for accessible and fast precision diagnostics and precision detection, in which we can process for different kinds of samples, blood, saliva, swab, plant tissue, or different kinds of materials that have genetic components, and detect for viruses, bacteria, genetic mutations, GMO. So obviously with a great impact within healthcare diagnostics, but also with applications beyond healthcare to other industries. And this platform concept is what we achieved through our CRISPR-Cas enzyme. So this is basically a novel CRISPR system that Casper discovered from extreme environments, from unpublished metagenomic data from extreme environments. And this is kind of the powerhouse of how we are able to detect in this very specific and yet accessible manner. And this is something that has positioned the company at the higher standards of what is a CRISPR company today. So in terms of the solutions that we're developing through this technology, we're focusing mostly on the accessibility and the portability that CRISPR brings to detection. So we're developing both solutions in a kit format for hospitals and labs. And we're also focusing a lot on the decentralization of equipment and solutions that can be used in pharmacies or even beyond by an individual itself. Combining other technologies such as lyophilization, acrylics on paper, and other complementary things. And right now, focused a lot in what is our COVID-19 diagnostic solution. So that is the current focus of the company. We haven't taken any product to market for now, and COVID-19 will be the first solution that we deploy at a scale. So some of the value propositions that our technology brings when compared to the existing technologies is the possibility to process directly from sample without having to do an RNA extraction, and within a speed of 60 minutes from sample to result, which is a huge bottleneck today for COVID, and it's a huge bottleneck for the system. Easy to use, with a readout being performed in a lateral flow or similar, without requiring PCR equipment, external reagents or trained personnel. A sensitivity and specificity which is comparable to the one of PCR, cost efficient, and a platform which is very easy to redesign for new targets. So this is basically the equipment that would be needed today in our product for COVID-19 detection. It's minimal equipment that can be found in a hospital, in a low complexity facilities with micropipettes, a heat block, and some tips. And we've published a first paper around our validations with contrived samples. And most recently, we did a validation with clinical samples together with the Health Ministry of Argentina, processing directly from extracted RNA, and soon to perform these same validations in a direct from sample manner, not only with partners in Argentina, but rather in the whole of Latin America and the rest of the world. And the correlation, the positive predictive value and the negative predictive value was of 100%, working out of 19 patient samples, 9 positive and 10 negative. And we did the readout both on terms of fluorescence and also with a lateral flow. So this is truly a technology that enables decentralization of molecular diagnostics with a readout that can be performed in a manner as simply as a lateral flow. So in terms of how we've been advancing commercially, we have ongoing pilots We have different government entities from around the world interested in our solution, and we've been receiving a lot of interest from distributors around the world for what is our soon-to-be COVID-19 solution. Obviously, we're taking this in the required steps necessary in terms of our FDA, EUA emergency use authorization. That is something that we're still in process of formally presenting, as there's still more optimization to be done to our test. But we expect to, within the next month, be able to achieve that emergency use, as well as leverage our productive scale. So we're seeing of deploying hundreds of thousands of tests per month in the second half of this year. And this is a little bit about the team. I'm originally from Argentina, soy argentino. Co-founding team is also from Argentina, but from the very beginning, we've had investors from the US, such as IndieBio, which has given this dual presence of the company both in San Francisco and in Argentina. And this is a little bit about the leadership team, which today has about 20 full-time employees. And lastly, obviously, very open to any interest from external partners, hospitals, labs, or people that may be interested in supporting us or opening up the conversation to know more about Casper Biotech.
Thank you very much, Franco. Now the ball is with Leopoldo.
Thank you, Bernardo. Thank you, Rio2C, for having me here. And Franco, Alex, it's a pleasure to share this panel with you guys. Before jumping in the theme of coronavirus and issues, I'd like to give you a brief presentation of Albert Einstein itself and the innovation arm, because it facilitates for us to understand how the hospital is dealing with this situation. So for those who still don't know the hospital, Albert Einstein is probably one of the most reputable hospitals in Latin America. And a few months ago, we were elected one of the best 50 hospitals in the world and the only one in Latin America. And our activity covers from diagnostic medicine through high complexity treatments, passing through an education arm, and also research arm and social responsibility arm. And that's interesting because the coronavirus disease and its issues are not only health related, it's all about how the healthcare system deals with the society. So it's a lot of interactions between the healthcare system and society. When we talk about research, established years ago, our ARO, which is our academic research organization, which runs specific studies and researches, like that one related to chloroquine, for instance. Talking specifically about innovation, we have been working with startups with open innovation for the last maybe 6 or 7 years, something like that. And since then, we are working with startups, not only working with Brazilian startups, but also with startups from other countries, because we understand we can act as a hub to help those startups to make the software learning process in the Brazilian market. So this activity of dealing with startups covers also a lot of different activities, from providing those startups with mentorship, help them during the validation process in the Brazilian market, help them to run a pilot project inside the hospital, and sometimes they can count also with the hospital as an important client. For a startup, having a hospital like Albert Einstein as a client is a kind of stamp of approval, which of course open a lot of doors for them. And when we try to support those startups, we are also providing them with many kind of support from, as I mentioned, mentorship. We make some kind of connections with potential clients, potential partners, potential investors as well. and also other research institutes. And started doing probably 2 years ago, providing access for those startups to capital, not only from Albert Einstein. We also invest in some startups, but we also help them to get access to grants. In São Paulo, we have FAPESP. So we had a lot of startups from São Paulo getting access to this funding with help of Albert Einstein. And we are now with 40 startups as partners of Albert Einstein. We have our incubator, which is Edits Bio. You have access to our website when you find further information about it. What is more exciting regarding this scenario of coronavirus disease is that we could see how fast those startups can change and can adapt to deal with the coronavirus disease. I was having a conversation with some startups earlier this week, yesterday, and someone mentioned Charles Darwin. So this is not the strongest nor most intelligent who will survive. And it's interesting because in Portuguese we say it's to adapt better, but in English it's the most responsive. And I think this scenario has everything to do with it, because it's not only a case of adapting, it's how fast you can adapt to the changes. And we have seen a lot of changes happening, not only in startups. They are adapting their business models, adapting their solutions to deal with the coronavirus disease, but also the hospital itself and many other corporations are adapting to work together and collaborate, deal with the situations related to coronavirus. So I can say we have been doing some partnerships with other corporations like Lojas Renner and Vale that would take months negotiating prior to this crisis. Now we have established those partnerships maybe in days, and we already have results from those partnerships related to finding new solutions and making some connections to address problems related to coronavirus disease. Finally, regarding our ARO, I mentioned that we have some researchers that have been carried out by our research institute. We have two main researchers running. The one which is related to chloroquine, another is related to plasma therapy. Those are the most relevant researches that I know that is being carried out by our team. But what is interesting is that in a short period of time, we can see several clinical trials going on. We have now over 500 clinical trials related to coronavirus running at this moment all around the world. So it's very fast. How responsive our research institutes, our entrepreneurs can be to deal with this problem. And that's it. Given that the hospital is not only the hospital itself, so I mentioned it covers from our social responsibility arm, our research institute. We are of course involved in many aspects with this crisis. So we have, for instance, those activities related to startups, like startups of Franco or Alex or many others that we are open to work with them. But also we have other activities related to donations for communities, or donations from the hospital to other hospitals. For instance, Manaus, where we have done a donation of personal protective equipment for them. We know that is of course an issue as well, and many other activities related to the hospital and other organizations. So in a nutshell, that's it, what we have been doing. And of course, I'm open here for questions.
Thank you very much. I will talk about the Israeli health tech startup ecosystem and how they are responding to the COVID-19. Okay, there are between 70 and 80 startups helping prevent, combat, monitor the crisis. You can see a map here that I'm going to post. And I picked 9 of these startups to show you guys, and they are in different areas, using different technologies and different process for combating the crisis. So the first one I picked is Clio Medical. Clio Medical is a tele-ICU, is a intensive care unit platform. Clio Medical, they use AI in predictive analytics to prevent when a patient will gonna deteriorate. So by doing that, they can using their algorithms understand person who's gonna use a ventilator before the person goes to the ventilator, and maybe prevent the usage. So we know that the fastest you act, better the chance of the person to survive. So that this is a very important technology, and that's one of the reasons why Israel is being so efficient combating COVID-19. The second startup I brought is Early Sense. Early Sense is a device. It's a device that you put under your mattress that contactless can monitor the patient. So you don't have any type of contact with the patient body in order to monitor all the heart, the oxygen, and other vital KPIs. So by doing that and combining Early Sense and Clio Medical, you can have first people at quarantine being monitored by doctors, and you understand before they need to go to the hospital that they need to go. So it's very efficient in a way that you can protect doctors and hospital crew, but not touching the patient. So it's being very efficient, and it's being a solution that's being spread and developed in Israel these days. The third one is Cyber MDX. Cyber MDX is a technology to protect data and to connect devices. So as Alex mentioned, if you connect everything, you need to understand and control better by telemetry the equipment. So this data is going to be public and circulating between ambulance, hospitals, government. So protect this data privacy. So that's an issue in hospitals. The security of data of patients, the more it's becoming digital, the more you need to prevent privacy, protect the privacy. The next startup that I bring is Click Diagnostics. Is somehow related to Franco tests, but is another approach, is another technology. The PCR equipment is very expensive. It's a big equipment, and so you have to centralize the exams, and you can pick remotely, take there. So it's not a very efficient process today. Expensive and takes a long time to get the results. So Click Diagnostics, they create like a very, very inexpensive small device that's a mix of electronics with chemistry for PCR tests. There's another approach, but also very, very much more efficient and with a lower cost. This is under development. It's not for this crisis, but they're using the crisis to learn a lot and to prepare for the future. Another startup is Bina AI. Bina AI is a video combined with AI that is on an app. So you film yourself, just by filming yourself up to 2 minutes, the video combined with AI algorithms, they will tell how is your blood pressure, how is your temperature, how is your pressure, how is your oxygen flow. So there's a lot of information at individual granularity. So that's another way to prevent and to follow patients in quarantine. Next startup is NanoSono. NanoSono is a nanotechnology that you can apply to a cover that you put on fabrics, on materials that's antiviral. So it's very advanced. So using nanotechnology, you can kill virus on your gloves, on your masks, on the uniforms, or even on your table, make it very, very safe. Other technology that's related to fabric that's developed in Israel is cotton X. That's a technology that combines fabrics with copper to kill virus. So Carrefour is using it in Poland to prevent infections in their employees at the supermarkets already. Next one is SOPI. SOPI is IoT technology combined with face recognition that you use in water sinks, in hospitals, in hotels, in restaurants, that they can say which of your employees already wash their hands, if they wash their hands properly, and create reports and tell you if this person is probably infected or is not properly protected for infections. So it's very advanced, and it's a way, again, to prevent future infections. So the last one is T-scan. T-scan is a genomic therapy for cancer company that's also now is developing the use of the T-scan technology for development of future vaccination for COVID. So T-scan is based on T cells. T cells is white blood cells related to the key of immune systems called T lymphocytes. This technology find the targets for the T cell receptors up to 1,000 T cell receptors mapping, and this can teach the system how to combat and how to make your immune system more efficient, and is a new kind of vaccination for the future. It's a new generation of vaccines that are coming out of it. So with that, I finish my presentation, and I will start asking questions to you guys. So I will start with Alex.
Yep.
Alex, my question is, how do you see the Olympic Games coming to Japan after that, and what's going to be different than expected, new technology that you foresee for preventing problems there?
So, before quickly answer that, I explained in my presentation about the acute care network, where all the doctors are connected. We believe, or Japan believes, that this is a day-to-day basis for normal acute cases like a cardio, like stroke, etc. When a mass disaster or epidemic situation like COVID-19 happens, where there's overloading of emergency room, that's when this network can be maximized. It's like Avengers, where you have Iron Man, Hulk, all those kind of heroes, but there's a bigger enemy comes, you have Avengers assembled, right? So that's how we envision, or Japan envision healthcare, which actually we're bringing this in Brazil in several places like Porto Alegre, Ribeirão Preto. Said so, still bringing people on board, inbound, it's still a matter of the comfort and peace of mind. So if you're not comfortable, you're not coming. That's the bottom line. But imagine that you have a structure. You have the healthcare situation that, hey, you can come here and we can take care of you if there's some, issue on your house. Still, you come from people from everywhere in the world. You don't know the background. But what if the boost of a personal medical record that each person can carry their own situation, like a CT scan for 4 months ago that I did in New York, for instance. When I come to Japan I don't feel good, I can go to the hospital. I show that my CT on flight to the doctors in Japan, for instance. That is already a reality in Japan, where there's another app that can transfer cloud to cloud of the CT from the hospital to his personal cloud CT. So he carried that CT scan to show to the doctor. In that way, you can have a track record of your health, where you were country from, which will help you to assist when there's a situation like health situation. That with all the, of course, security measures, sanitization measure, all those things will be in place. But the most important thing is the situation awareness and user behavior in a way that you have a peace of mind and everything is under control, so you can enjoy your Olympic Games over there. And last, just because there's a quote over there, I brought my own quote. That was Jeff Bezos, who used Theodore Sales Geisel's quote to their shareholders, said, when something bad happens, you have three choices. You can either let it define you, let it destroy you, or you can let it strengthen you. Thank you.
Question to Franco. Franco, you've been developing tests using CRISPR. How do you foresee and vaccines development being a bottleneck for us to live quarantine? So how do you see CRISPR helping in the future the development of faster, more efficient vaccines?
Yes, I mean that's a very interesting question. Obviously, CRISPR as a technology tool has applications way beyond just detection and diagnostics, but rather its primary application, which has been described about 8 years ago, has been as a gene editing solution, given the ability of Cas9 as an enzyme to specifically target certain DNA sequence, its ability to kind of cut it, edit it, and even replace it. So as a gene editing solution and for therapeutic applications, there are quite a number of companies pursuing therapeutic trials, some more advanced, others more early. On the gene editing side, I don't see for now how this could relate to a vaccine in the case of COVID-19. Given that the technology today is too early on, even for specific kind of diseases or genetic mutations which have a very high risk for the end person that is suffering from that genetic mutation or from that disease. So I think that CRISPR as a therapeutic for the next 5 to 10 years will evolve. We will continue to see more trials and more results, hopefully successful, of the application of the technology for gene editing. But in situations or cases of patients in which the added value and the benefit greatly exceeds the risk of the current disease that the person faces. So it has to be a high reward situation in which the patient is suffering from something which is very serious or even terminal. And in the future, obviously, a specific technology such as CRISPR could enhance or could help into the development of better vaccines. I don't see this playing out for COVID-19 right now.
And to finalize, Leopoldo, how do you see after the crisis the change of the environment for the Einstein innovation arm?
Well, I believe it will be stronger after the crisis not only Einstein Innovation Arm, but innovation arms at all, because if there is something that we learned about the situation is that open innovation is all about collaboration and working together and trying external ideas. That is effective. So I believe that after we arrive at our new normal situation, probably innovation arms will be stronger, because I see people more willing to collaborate with other organizations and trying external ideas.
So again, thank you very much, Alex, Franco, Leopoldo. It was great to exchange with you guys. I'm honored, and thank you for your generosity to share your knowledge with us.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you to all. It's been a pleasure participating.
Have a nice trip, Alex.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Now we will present a video about the launch of Petrobras Connections for Innovation. The objective of their program is to the development of disrupting and exponential innovation in their startup module as a program to find, help, and promote the scalability of innovation in the oil and gas ecosystem. Now I will leave you with a video presented by Juliano Dantas, Executive Manager of Petrobras Research Center, to tell you more about this initiative. Thank you very much.
Olá, pessoal da Rio2C Live, esse evento que fala sobre criatividade e inovação. Eu sou Juliano Dantas e responsável pelo Centro de Pesquisas da Petrobras. Falando em criatividade e inovação, eu queria conversar um pouco com vocês sobre o nosso programa Conexões para a Inovação, que é o programa de inovação aberta da Petrobras. Dentro desse programa, nós temos os módulos de startups. Estamos agora caminhando para o segundo módulo, cujo edital vai sair agora em maio. A partir do dia 11 de maio até o dia 30 de junho poderão ser feitas as inscrições. E nesse edital, que é uma parceria com o Sebrae, estamos buscando pequenas empresas e startups que têm seu DNA, criatividade, inovação, desenvolvimento tecnológico, que possam ser aplicados à indústria de óleo e gás. As tecnologias que a gente está buscando nesse módulo vão de tecnologias digitais, de maneira geral, com aplicação transversal na empresa, robótica, eficiência energética, modelagem geológica, inspeção, manufatura, dentre outros. Se a sua empresa tem esse perfil, fique ligado em nosso site. As inscrições ocorrerão, como eu falei, entre 11 de maio e 30 de junho. Vocês serão muito bem-vindos. Contamos com a sua energia para transformar. Tenham todos um excelente evento. Um abraço.